Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video today. We'll have a bit of a look at the news. We'll go through some of the headlines that have caught my attention today in the press. We'll also go into the comment section, some comments that have been left on videos recently, and have a look at some of those as well. So we'll get straight into the news. As you can see, it's a nice day today, not too cold, a little bit windy. The wind has picked up, but the birds are chirping, and that is a good sign. Now, straight into the news, and some good news for people that don't like to wear masks on public transport, and it is that the mask mandate on public transport here in Spain is going away this week. And as we can read here, masks will also not be required in opticians or orthopedic shops, but will be required in pharmacies. Masks will cease to be compulsory this week in healthcare establishments such as optician shops and orthopedics, as well as on public transport, but they will still have to be worn in healthcare and socio-health centres and services and in pharmacies. This is what the Minister of Health, Carolina Darius, told the ministers this Thursday during the meeting of the Interterritorial Council of the National Health System, in which she gave them the details of the modification of the Royal Decree of April last year that regulates the obligatory use of masks, which she will take to the Council of Ministers this Tuesday. So there we go, the mask mandate here in Spain, the obligatory wearing of masks on public transports all over the country, not only in the big cities, but all over Spain, going away this week. I think the 8th of February is the day that this law will cease to exist. And that means that the only places that you will be required to wear masks here in Spain from the 8th on are pharmacies and health centres, official health centres, for example, hospitals or medical centres around the country. But as I said, some good news there for people that think that that mask mandate on public transport went on for a little bit too long and longer than it should have done. Now, moving on to the next piece of news, and an interesting piece of news in my opinion. And we can see the headline here, International Litigation. Funds to seek asset seizure from Spain. International funds and investors are currently studying new legal strategies to collect unpaid international arbitration claims against Spain that they have won. Sources close to these investors suggest that these companies are analysing the possibility of demanding that US, British or Australian courts impose asset seizure measures on the Kingdom of Spain in order to secure payments. Spain ranks only second to Venezuela in the number of unpaid decisions. The amount amounts to $700 million, according to the Arbitration, Investment Treaty and Awards Compliance Report of 2022, prepared by Investment Consulting. The most affected investors have already begun to report the defaults to the International Monetary Fund and debt rating agencies. So, there we go, an interesting piece of news there. Apparently, the Kingdom of Spain not paying its debts, and second only to Venezuela in the number of unpaid decisions, amounting to around $700 million according to this report. And a lot of these claims relate to investment funds that invested in renewable energy in this country back in 2006, 2007, 2008, when Spain was promoting that type of energy, and for people to invest in it because they were getting great returns at the time. But of course, the laws changed here in Spain. These companies lost money, and apparently Spain doesn't want to pay up, or at least according to this article, that is. Now, the next piece of news we'll look at today relates to the big banks here in Spain and the new windfall tax that they have to pay because the government imposed this tax on banks last year. Let's have a look. The big banks will pay more than 1.1 billion euros this year for the new windfall tax. Spain's major banks, Santander, BBVA, CaixaBank, Sabadell, Bankinter and Unicaja, will pay more than 1.1 billion euros this year for the new tax, with which the government aims to raise some 3 billion in 2 years. This new tax, which Bankinter has already announced it will appeal, levies a 4.8% tax on net interest income and net commissions in the banking business in Spain, which the government considers to be extraordinary profits due to the rise in interest rates. In fact, large banks have obtained record profits of 20.85 billion euros in 2022. So an interesting tax, this one, this new windfall tax. Banks obviously not happy that they have to pay this tax, cutting in to their profit margins, no doubt. And one bank, Bankinter, already saying that it will appeal this new tax. And other banks, for example, Santander Bank and I think BBVA and CaixaBank, are also thinking about whether or not to challenge this new tax. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not the banks pay this new windfall tax. But as we saw there, record profits last year for Spanish banks, mainly because of international operations that they have, not necessarily the local Spanish market creating those profits, but 20.85 billion in profits last year, the big Spanish banks. And let's be honest, there's not too many big Spanish banks anymore. Now, keeping on the topic of banks here in Spain, and if you're like me, you probably ask yourself the question, are bank branches disappearing around the country? Well, the answer is yes, because as we can see here, large banks in Spain closed 1,300 branches by 2022 and reduced their workforce by 5,800 employees. The six main Spanish banks, Santander, BBVA, CaixaBank, Sabadell, Bankinter and Unicaja Banco, reduced their branch network in Spain by around 1,360 last year to 10,500 branches at the end of December, according to data from the financial reports published by the banks themselves in recent weeks. In addition, they ended 2022 with a workforce of around 120,600, which is 5,800 fewer employees than in 2021, when they had teams totaling 126,500 people. So bank branches around Spain and bank employees here in Spain disappearing over the last few years, and this no doubt is a result of all of the mergers that have taken place in the banking sector here in Spain over the last couple of years. For example, the one between CaixaBank and Bankia, which has led to lots of branches closing down because basically Bankia had a branch in front of a CaixaBank branch or the other way around. Now, let's get into the comment section and check out what has been happening there. This first one here from Andrés, pero no te lo traen ellos a domicilio? Yeah, Andrés, thanks for the comment, and no doubt referring to the meal that I ate at this very same table last week, and I had to go to the restaurant, pick the food up and bring it back home because the restaurant in question that day does not do home deliveries. They don't use one of these delivery apps, for example, Glovo, Uber Eats or Just Eat or one of those apps. So you have to go down there and get the food yourself, which is a bit of an inconvenience, but it's not far away, so I don't really mind. But unfortunately, when it comes to food like the Menú del Día, three-course meals, not too many restaurants are on those delivery apps. They're mainly fast food restaurants, hamburger restaurants, pizza restaurants and things like that. So if you want to get a takeaway meal from one of these more traditional restaurants, you have to go there yourself. Another comment here from another Andres. Great live stream, Stuart. I love runny eggs, but only if I cook them. I don't want to die early. 84 years is my goal. There is a way to immerse the eggs still in the shell in boiling water off the flame. Supposedly, if the egg is held in to 170 degrees Fahrenheit water for a few minutes, it destroys salmonella. I've seen videos of chefs doing that in order to make Caesar salad. I tried it and the eggs were still raw, but reduces the risk. I've used pasteurized liquid eggs too and they taste fine. Stuart, do you make tortilla de patata or your partner in your home? Yeah, Andres, thanks for the comment, and I'll answer the last question that you posed there first, and the answer is no, I do not make tortilla de patatas very often here. I have made it in the past, but not very often, mainly because it's very messy, and my son prefers a normal omelette, a French omelette, if you like. Every day when he comes home from school, he doesn't ask for a potato omelette, and I would basically refuse to make one, Andres, because as I said, it can get a little bit messy. But luckily, my partner's auntie is an expert tortilla maker, and she makes one every now and again, and we bring it home, and that's what we enjoy whenever we want to eat tortilla de patatas. And when it comes to the other thing that you mentioned in your comment, Andres, dealing with eggs and the possible risk of salmonella, thanks for the tip. One here from Kevin, that €3.50 takeaway lunch looks ideal if on the move. Yeah, Kevin, thanks for the comment, and referring to something that we saw in yesterday's live stream about how a bar owner here in Madrid has started offering the cheapest Menú del Día in Spain, €3.50 for a takeaway meal. First course, second course, water is included. I think some fruit is included as well, or a yogurt, and of course bread, all for the huge price of €3.50. And it seems like a bargain, and you're right, it would be ideal if you were on the move. And one of the characteristics of this €3.50 meal deal is that you have to take it away. If you want to eat on the premises, it's €7, so double the price, but still a bargain in my opinion. One here from John, Gibraltar is not part of Spain, so your comment stating that it is would be incorrect and needs correcting. Yeah, John, thanks for the comment, and I've highlighted your comment because I want to bring to people's attention how easy it is for people to watch these videos but not understand a single word that I say. In last night's live stream, yes, I did talk about Gibraltar, Gibraltar in Spanish, but I didn't say that Gibraltar is part of Spain. I said that the Campo de Gibraltar, which is an area down there in Cádiz which surrounds the Rock of Gibraltar, which you're obviously referring to here, is indeed part of Spain. And I think it was part of Spain even before the British came along and decided to take that rock and call it their own. So my statement doesn't need correcting, John, and if you don't believe me, go back and watch the video, but your comment here does need correcting, and I'll wait for your apology. One here from Martin. Hola Stuart, muchas gracias por el video. We fly to Santander the beginning of June, fly back from Porto 3 weeks later, travelling to places along the coast, then turning inland from Luarca, then on to Oviedo, León, Salamanca, Coimbra, Porto. Does anyone think it's best to book hotels now or along the route so not to be tied to a timetable? Cheers! Yeah, Martin, thanks for the comment, and I'll open this comment up to the community. What do you think? Should he be booking hotels now, or should he wait, play it by ear when he's moving along the route there in the north of Spain, so as not to be tied to a timetable of having to arrive in a certain place at a certain time? Let Martin know what you think. In my opinion, Martin, I would be booking some of the hotels in advance just to guarantee that you get decent accommodation along the way, because that part of Spain can get quite busy. But then again, if you're not travelling during the main tourist season, July and August, you should be all right. But again, we'll open it up to the community and get people's opinion on what you should do. One here from PMAXC. Oh, you believe the experts. Good stuff, Stu. Yeah, PMAXC, thanks for the sarcastic comment. I couldn't have written it better myself. And when it comes to what you are referring to here, obviously viruses, for example, avian flu, which as we know is affecting the bird population currently in many parts of the world, or at least that's what the experts say. Yes, I do listen to experts because I, for one, am not qualified to talk on the subject. I could go to the internet, read a whole bunch of stuff, or go to BitChute and listen to a few experts on BitChute talking about the topic, but then again, why would I want to do that? And if you're not familiar with BitChute, check it out. It's a YouTube copy site where people that can't get their views expressed on YouTube because YouTube bans them, because basically a lot of the ideas are from crazy people, so they go to BitChute, put their videos out and try to get an audience there. So yes, I do tend to listen to the experts on certain topics, but hey, that's just me and the majority of the population. And finally, one here from Gaz. Hi Stu, thanks for the video. Have you discussed how we won't need masks on public transport after next week? Thanks. Yeah, Gaz, thanks for the comment. And yes, I discussed this at the beginning of today's video, the fact that we will no longer need to wear masks on public transport as of the 8th of February, so in a couple of days' time, which, as I said, is good news for a lot of people that are sick and tired of having to wear a mask in public spaces, in places like public transport here in Spain. The Minister of Health here has finally listened to the experts, and I'll use that word again, the experts who have been saying for a long time that masks are no longer necessary in such spaces. So as of the 8th of February, the only places that you will have to wear a face mask here in Spain are pharmacies, medical centres and hospitals and other places like that. But thanks, Gaz, for pointing that out. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you don't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.